Alright.
Wow. As you're walking out the door, out of the corner of your eye, you're pretty sure that you just see the telegraph guy pick up the telephone and is about to make a call.
Yep. It's too bad the telegram office is run by the old ones.
Well, it's too bad that was such a juicy gossip, and my mentor and I didn't develop like some sort of code to talk about demons. That would have been very useful. I'm gonna take out my journal and write down need telegram code.
Nope.
And then I'm gonna head to the university and see if I'm gonna find out any information about people whose skin become dry in moments.
Okay.
Not the beauty section.
Okay, because the first 90% of all the books you find are about dermatology.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Okay. Apparently, the solution to bad skin issues in 50% of all the journals you find, opium.
I believe it.
Every time I
It's
read
good for what
it,
ails
I
you.
just go, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep, it's good advice.
Opium.
Take a sip on your opium pipe and keep reading.
Yeah.
A lot of the journals
longer shall
actually
you
have
worry about your dry
ads for
skin.
where you can get the best opium.
Man.
Opium.
Bought out by the Opium Corporation. Terrible shame.
All right. So, by the way, it's Saturday, so none of you have to go to work, and so you get to enjoy
Ooh, day off.
the lovely time.
I'm
of
on
the-
vacation. Wait, are the factories not open on Saturday?
Not to people like you who are important.
I wake up every morning with just the sudden the fear that I've overslept a shift. Another 10 hours in the factory.
Well, when you were young, that was
yeah,
your life.
that was my life.
But now you're part of. Now you're the man. You don't have to go to work anymore. You get paid for sitting around all day drinking scotch.
There you go.
Making important decisions.
Like what scotch to drink.
Like what's
Yes, exactly.
So I will pick up a newspaper and continue pounding the pavement looking for employment.
Ooh, all right.
Ooh. You'll find something.
So I'm
sort of been blacklisted.
going through my contacts in the city and seeing who thinks what's going on, like if anyone's heard anything. About
Ooh.
Well,
Do you have
I mean, there's
something.
lots of story and conjecture, and I want to hear all of it.
All right. What's your
Oh, I don't have any points invested in this nonsense.
Oh, okay. Make a luck roll.
Wait, what would that even be in? There's no contacts. Luck roll it is.
Cut purse
Right,
buddies.
that's just a percentage. So 24
Ooh.
over 60.
All right. So you're wandering around. Oh, by the way, are you like the elite among cut purses? Like, are your contacts basically like homeless kids like wandering around the streets and?
Yeah, I'm basically Varys.
All right. All right. So you walk around and like
Less,
little boys come by and they have the usual, because they know that you're like the cool guy. Like you're always pressing coins into their grubby little hands so that you can buy breakfast and stuff like that. And so they notice you coming around. They try to be circumspect so that they don't draw attention to you and whatnot. And you hear, number one, you hear everything that's already in the papers, that there was a murder, that there is a huge investigation going on. You also hear that the people who are most under suspicion are her daughter and her son-in-law.
Okay.
And that apparently ever since the Count Herbert died during the war, despite what the family has been demonstrating and showing to the public, there has been a huge amount of infighting about what the outcome of his mill and his estate was going to be. And that even though the Lady Philomena continued to pursue leadership of the family, her daughter and her son-in-law were constantly trying to get control of running the business and taking over the family fortune.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not the first time that they've been under suspicion for trying to either have her put away or send her to the countryside. there's been a lot of unhappiness about her like sudden fascination with the occult and trying to reach the spirit of her dead husband, and they've been using that against her to say that she's clearly lost her mind.
Yeah, they're
and
gonna waste their inheritance.
Yes, and in fact, she's been spending an inordinate amount of money pursuing this kind of thing, hiring psychics, going to all these like crazy events and stuff like that to try to find ways of reaching her husband. And so they are the
The
spirits.
spirits are calling.
No, say it again.
Call of
It's the
Cthulhu.
call of
Oh my god.
There you
I
go.
know where it is.
I was like, you said it last time,
I did.
so
Yeah.
I think
might
it's,
as well have you
there
say it
is.
again.
It's an alarm.
Okay. It's like when Cthulhu calls, you can't find it. Yeah, it's
You
like-
can't find it.
yeah, that
I
makes
put it in
sense.
a-
You're doing insane.
You're doing
Make a
Uh,
sanity
yeah.
check.
I could do it.
So anyway, so you hear all this about like there's investigation and that the police have set up like a sort of like a staging area at the estate, and that they've been calling people in for investigations and whatnot.
Cool.
Meanwhile, let's see who's important enough. So you're just a kooky psychic lady, and
Kookmeister.
so when you return from the church, there is a message waiting for you that Captain Llewellyn has summoned you to the estate for further questioning.
Looks like he has
Ooh.
listened to my advice and realized a demon's on the loose. I
Who are you talking
Cthulhu.
You turn over there and there's someone there. It's like, oh yeah.
to?
all right. Well, I will follow the summons immediately.
All right.
Shit all
Oh,
over.
I grab my things.
Wink.
Bag of stuff.
Your things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Similarly, well, you went out to look for work, so you're not home. Alexander Jones, however, is home. He's reading his paper, and there's a banging at his door.
I open it.
It is one of the constabulary, and he brings with him a message that you have been summoned to the Herbert estate for questions about yesterday's affairs.
Of course,
And
I
if
will.
you could come at your immediate convenience.
I will come right away.
Excellent. And he leaves you to your business. Because you are people who are trusted. It's not like in 2016 where the police wait around and they're afraid you might flee.
Okay.
How long are you out looking for work?
I don't know, until about noon.
Oh, okay.
I
What
come
a
home-
suspect!
I
He's
come home
not
for
home
lunch.
when the police look.
Okay.
are looking
Oh, that
for
makes
him.
sense. Yeah.
And when you come home, there's a little note slipped under your door that says, "Hey, come to the estate. We have questions for you."
Why didn't they just hand it to my wife? Honey, I gotta go back out.
Oh, wait, your wife was home.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she has an OP. Sorry. No, I keep getting you and his character mixed up because you
Yeah.
both have spouses, and
Yeah,
so
okay.
it's like,
No.
yeah. So your wife has been waiting for you.
Okay.
She would have called, but there's no mobile phones.
Yeah,
that
it doesn't make any sense.
joining, so.
Yeah. Well,
So we
yeah.
just do
Yet
that.
another morning of no results. But
I have not
Yeah.
left my room yet, so
Unfortunately for you, they haven't really been able to track you down because they've been like, "Who's this guy? Where did he come from?" And they've been looking for you, but unfortunately, there's no internet. So like
yeah.
figuring it's like, oh, he's at some hotel and he's some Frenchman, and so they've been asking around. It's like, do you know some Frenchman who's been like staying around here? It's like that, and they're going to eventually find you if you don't go anywhere. But in the world of no internet, it takes a lot longer to find people who are just randomly in the city.
Well, I guess if I was gonna go anywhere, I would probably end up going to like any sort of art gallery that I could think of, because I can't think of myself going to like a library or anything else.
do you have a studio space where you work?
No, I'm not here to do work.
I'm on
I'm,
vacation.
I'm here to. I'm not really an artist.
Nah.
I'm an art appreciator.
Forgery.
I'm a wannabe,
An art appreciator.
a dilettante.
And Lady Azel, you are also summoned. Less so because you're a man whose opinion matters, but more so because you're the crazy lady who the madam was quite interested in, and
I'll find you.
I definitely
I'm gonna
slept
die.
in. I get my beauty
Not
ugly
good.
sleep.
oh, in that
I need
case,
to be in the group.
in that case, you are awakened from your sleep by banging on the wall. In fact, you were almost certain that it was just your neighbor again,
Yes.
and it took you a little while to realize there was actually someone at the door.
Oh, jeez. Well, they're gonna get a full face of scar, so I kind of scared
What
them.
do you want?
You. So you show up at the door as if you were Madonna before makeup,
Yes.
and there's a brief moment where you can almost sense that the police officer at the door is like just holding it in. And he's like, "Madam," and he does the usual, very British, like, "Your ugliness has not disturbed me enough to throw up until I am after."
Yeah.
But for now, he does kind of not make eye contact. Like, he does that whole thing where you want to say my face is up here, and he goes, yes, I know. And he hands you the,
Perfect.
and then he quickly, like, shuttles off, like he might be in a hurry to get
I
somewhere.
smoke it. No, I'm not.
Oh, I was looking for some papers for my opium.
Oh, thanks. Like. Anyway.
The long
Just smoke the sun.
Keep in mind, it's 1920, that ink probably has lead in it.
Oh, jeez.
Well, yeah, but it's 1920. We don't know that's bad.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
True.
It's probably good for you.
Yeah.
It's like-
Make you strong.
No,
Lead proof.
no wonder you have like hallucinations.
Remember,
Drink some mercury.
remember, all
this.
your homes are painted with lead-based.
It's like I have visions.
It's like the Hatter.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like his child's been licking the paint off the walls for years. It's like, oh, the kid's licking the paint again. It's like, I gotta run away from that.
It's probably fine.
Yeah, it's probably fine. It's like,
You know, you grew up, licking paint. Your
Yeah.
father grew up licking paint.
His father
It's a
before him.
Tradition.
yeah.
Tradition.
They all live to the grand old age of 50, so
Yeah, they're doing. You know.
Who expects to live past 50 nowadays? You know, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
That's
the fact
selfish.
that Lady Herbert was 64 was like unheard of. It was like,
You know, that's selfish. That's what that is.
it's witchcraft.
Probably.
It could be.
It's witchcraft.
Yeah, more so than her demise was her life.
So you, one by one, arrive at the estate.
Do I have any
so who
reason to
got
be there?
invites?
No,
But I don't.
So I am
actually-
not there.
right.
Yes.
Oh, that's true. You're not
I
there.
definitely would
and
not.
you
Is
would
it
not
just-
find- yeah.
Okay, so
It's just the four of you.
Okay.
So here, the more important question is: do you coincidentally arrive almost at the same time, or do you arrive significantly at different times than one another?
I will arrive last.
Well, has Thomas been summoned?
So you
I
don't
checked
know.
with him first.
Oh, you check with him.
Yes.
So you ring him up.
We could share a cab.
Ooh, yes.
Mm.
You ring him up, and he is so hungover. It's like, oh my god, what happened?
It was quite a night. Have you heard anything from the inspectors?
Yeah, some guy dropped off a note this morning that we have to go back to the estate today at some point. I figured I'd probably deal with it when I woke up again.
All right. Okay. Well, I will see you there then. Or perhaps, you know what? We were there together. I'm sure any questions they would ask you, they can just ask me.
That seems fair. If they really need me, give me a ring and I'll come by maybe tomorrow or something.
I will do that. And okay.
And then you hear
Well,
like
then I
this
get-
kind of shuffling noise, like he accidentally tried to put the phone back on the hook and dropped it off the end table, and he like picks it up and is like, yeah, he's left. It's like, yeah,
Bloody hell.
yeah.
I'm
So,
going to do
all right.
my regular 3-hour beauty routine.
Oh, okay. Well,
That will take me.
so from what
And I don't get there till noon.
Yeah, so it clearly means that
Jeez.
that Franklin is the first one to arrive, or Jones is the first one to arrive.
Probably by a pretty wide margin too.
Yes, because you're actually there in the morning, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, professional, ready
Yes,
to go.
on time.
Yes.
The
Nigel,
British manner that I've picked
Nigel-
up from moving here. Yes.
Nigel lets you in. There's about a half a dozen policemen who are kind of wandering around. They clearly seem to be doing investigative things. but it's more of like 2x2 guys standing around, kind of pointing at things, having like subtle, quiet
Stroking their mustaches.
Yeah, well, the normal police guys don't have mustaches.
Oh, okay. Only the higher.
It's a sign of rank.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. These are young, like clean-shaven guys who
yeah.
look really keen, and they're trying to do investigative stuff, but they're like, I don't know what we're looking for, because basically, oh no, you haven't talked to them yet, but they look like they're doing something, but it's fairly clear that they look more like they're trying to look like they're busy doing something, but nothing actually important seems to be happening. Like there's a lot of gesturing and pointing and whispering, and then walking off to something else and gesturing. You're like, whatever they're looking for. As a scientist, you feel like, boy, these guys have not been trained in science.
Hello, gentlemen. I was summoned here.
They're very excited that something has happened. So like, oh, sir.
Yes, I'm Alexander Jones.
Oh, excellent. The constable is waiting for you. The captain is waiting for you in the drawing room.
All right.
And they gesture over to where the body was found.
Okay.
And there's a guard standing out front. And as soon as you get there, he opens the door, and the constable is there. I keep calling him the constable for some reason. The captain is there, and he's there with Nigel, the older Nigel.
Oakenforth.
And, yeah, Oakenforth, that's it. And the two of them are sitting there, and they're having brandies, and they're sort of like chatting kind of quietly and talking with each other. And the room has been completely cleaned up. The body is gone. Everything looks like nothing has happened.
Do I remember what Nigel or how people addressed him? Was it Mr.
Yeah, they would just call him Mr. Oakenforth.
Okay.
As far as you know, he's not
anything.
titled or anything like
Okay.
that. But everyone seems to give him a bunch of deference, like
Yes.
he's very important and valuable. But no one seems to know whether or not he's like owed money or if he's important in some way.
And what was the captain's name again?
Llewellyn. I'm sorry. Ianto Llewellyn.
Okay. Is that a LL spelling?
Oh, it's IANTO.
Yanto.
Is that a British name or is he a foreigner?
He's Welsh.
Welsh.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
He's a local. He grew up here.
And how do you spell his last name?
Llewellyn. LLEWEL. LLEWELLYN.
LLEWELYN?
LLYN.
LLYN. Okay. Well, got it.
Ooh, that is.
There will be a test.
Yeah. He grew up here his whole life. He went to the elementary school in the Splatlands. He's just been here forever.
Captain Llewellyn?
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Oakensforth, and I tip my hat to
Welcome,
him.
welcome. We've been waiting for you and your lot to return. As you can see, we.
Yes, am I the first one?
No. Mr. Oakenforth here was the first.
Oh, yes, of course.
We were just catching up a bit on last night's affairs, and we want to make sure that we had all of our facts. I hope that you haven't spoken to anyone.
No, of course not.
Nasty
I went
business.
home, went straight to bed myself.
I'm sure you heard the criers in the street claiming that we were investigating this matter and how there was a murder and all that sort of thing. Yeah. Those
Terrible journalistic practices.
Yes, those newspaper men. I clearly there were some who did not follow our instructions, did not share their information with the public. I'm sure it wouldn't have been anyone such as you.
Of course not.
A well-educated gentleman such as yourself, Mr. Oakenforth. Indeed. Take a sip of his brandy. So, perhaps you would like to pour yourself a cup and catch us up. Remind us of what you saw and what events had occurred. We're trying to compare notes to make sure that we have a good timeline for what had occurred.
Yes. Pour myself brandy, and yes, if I remember correctly, myself. Oh, and my good friend Mr. Klein may not be able to make it, but he and I were always in the same location, so I can tell you everything I saw. If you do need him to verify the facts,
We will certainly need to hear his version of the events as,
all right.
as well.
Yes. well, let's see. We were walking around the party. We had stopped to look at the artists. Miss, what was her name? I didn't write it down. The lady who was painting.
Caitlin.
Oh yes, Miss
the-
Patterol.
Yes, her. She was painting some of the scroll work. I don't know. I not an educated man myself. Learned everything I knew in the steelworks. But was painting some of the iconography on the side, and then there was screams, cries of. We all rushed into the main ballroom, I believe, and yes, there was that young girl who was screaming that the dowager was dead, and from there there was a great commotion. Myself and several others, we all rushed upstairs into the small sitting room where the dowager countess was sitting in her chair as if reposing. But upon witnessing her, we saw that she was very obviously dead. A French fellow said he was a doctor in the war, I think he told me. He said it was as if she had been exposed to the desert for at least several weeks. I don't understand it myself, medical things, more of chemistry. I worked it out with another fellow there. We devised what sort of mechanical process and chemical process one would go about to replicate these results, and it would take way more than you could possibly fit in that tiny room in order to reduce the late dowager to that state. So I don't see how it could be foul play of that sort.
And you saw nothing else of note? No,
let's see.
no things untoward, moved unnecessarily?
Well, that one bloody fellow, what was his name? He was rifling through the bookshelves, even though they told him not to. I don't know what he was doing,
Oh,
but...
yes, Trevor Tristan or someone. He
Yes,
took his book and
yes.
started to look through it. Oh, yes, Mr. Tristan Wren.
Yes.
We're expecting him later this afternoon to collaborate these stories. So, and then he gestures at the chair. He goes, and this was the chair in which you found the lady.
Yes.
And it was in this position when you found her last night?
Is the chair in the same...
It
same
looks like it
position?
is.
Okay.
Like it's kind of facing slightly towards the fireplace.
Yes.
and that sort of
From
thing.
my knowledge, she was sitting there, facing the fire. She had brandy cup, much as we are doing right now. She looked as if she had sat down for a small respite from the party.
Interesting. So, and at this point, he gestures at the carpeting that is sitting on, and you're suddenly realizing that you can't recall if this was from last night, and you all just simply didn't notice it, or it's happened since then. Is that there are little divots in the carpet that shows that the chair has been moved about like 6 inches from where it has always normally sat, and you can't recall if this was the case from before. Because he's very curious. He says, "Did you note if this was moved when you arrived, or since that time?"
I can't seem to remember.